and welcome to Attract Joy and Abundance with Qigong. I'm Parisa Shelton, and let's get ready to embark upon a transformative journey where we'll dive deeper into personal development, wellness, and well-being. We're going to show you practical tools in order to alleviate sadness and depression, access more joy and abundance, and step into your highest potential. And get ready to possibly join the growing field of holistic health and well-being. Whether you're seeking deeper personal healing, looking to help others, or seeking to transition into a meaningful career in health and wellness, this series will show you how Qigong can both help you attract and access more joy and abundance, fulfillment, and peace of mind. As above, so below. How we feel on the inside will manifest into our external environment and how we interact with the world. In these challenging times, we need more people just like you to understand how to handle stress and negativity from our external environment. We're going to show you tools in order to access inner peace and stillness, which will then manifest into your outer world. We all experience stresses from politics, career, family life. It's coming at us from all directions, and now we're going to show you scientifically proven methods in order to cope and deal with stress around us. To thy own self be true, and why this is so important right now in this time space that we access this ancient wisdom for our daily living. Now, in a moment, I'm going to bring on one of my favorite human beings. This man is a superhero. He's helped people from all around the world of all ages and all groups, all shapes and sizes. Renowned healer who has transformed his own personal injuries and family dysfunctions, which he'll talk about in a little bit, into not only helping himself, but also helping his family, community, and the world at large. So let's get ready for the man, the mystery, Mr. Chris Shelton.
Wow, what a great introduction. Hello, and thank you. And thank you once again for joining us. And yes, I've been a master healer now for over 23 years and been studying these ancient arts of Qigong, Tai Chi, as well as Chinese medicine for, over 30 years now. It's been quite a journey. You know, in Chinese medicine, and especially in classical Chinese medicine, we have a saying that the leading cause of death and disease is due to negative emotions and trauma. And it's not that these emotions are bad, it's when they're not processed properly that actually shows up and manifests as inflammation, chronic pain, depression, and other types of diseases. So this comes from ancient textbooks, and in particular, the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Difficulties, also referred to as the Su Wen. So in the Su Wen, they talk about, in order to prevent disease or fight disease after disease sets in is like digging a well after one has become thirsty, forging one's weapons after engaging in battle. Wouldn't that be too late? So the whole idea here is to be able to harness these energies that are contained within our bodies in order to live the ultimate life that we are meant to live. Remember, number one, we have to be able to heal thyself. You know, that saying in the Bible that says, heal thyself is so true. So before we can even think about helping other family members or friends or people in our community, we have to dive in deep to ourselves. And conversely, when we help people release negative emotions and trauma that they've experienced throughout their life, guess what? It opens up the doorway for them to live the ultimate life of joy and abundance. And whether it's helping your community, your patients, your friends, your family, it does not matter. Ultimately, though, it comes back to being able to help yourself first. And by being able to help yourself, you'll be able to further help your patients, your clients, your friends and family, and your community. So this is one of those deep dives into ourselves because we're all like snowflakes, we're all individual. One of the best things I could do for you is make sure that I take care of my own health. One of the best things you could do for me is for you to take care of your own health. And that's a very powerful statement. And what's amazing is that Qigong gives you these tools in order to access greater health, greater joy, happiness, and abundance. We have to do something. There's so much going on within our politics, our environment, our home life, our family life, our marriages, etc., that we need to be able to do something to be able to help ourselves transform ourselves into being the best version. What we're witnessing right now in 2025 is unprecedented, that people are waking up to the fact that, hey, we need practices that is going to help our mental, emotional, and our physical well-being. And this creates two powerful opportunities. First of all, for your own personal development and transformation, to be able to release stress and emotional blockages, to help to improve our sleep, to help to manage depression, symptoms of depression and anxiety, help improve our digestion, increasing our energy and our vitality in order for us to live the ultimate life that God has set for us to live. Now, the second opportunity is for those of you that want to help other people. So this is whether you're already in the healthcare field, or if you're somebody looking for a new vocation, or you want to take on some teaching, add new tools to your existing practice, be able to teach live classes to your community, be able to inspire people so that way they can live the ultimate life that God set for them to live. Work one-on-one with clients, and because you're doing service for the community, actually you'll be able to give deeper meaning not only to their life, but also back to you as well too.
Wow, you're absolutely correct. And it's really interesting how in this day and age, we're seeing record levels of anxiety, depression, overwhelm, burnout. You would think with all our scientific developments that those type of conditions would be on the decline, but actually they're on the upclimb, especially for our children and teenagers. We're seeing incredibly high amounts of depression, withdrawal, social isolation, cyberbullying. It's all just so much for our nervous systems. So thank you so much for sharing these tools in order to help people come to balance, find their center, and ultimately live their highest potential, because we are all meant for joy and abundance. And when we are not in our alignment, when we are not in our purpose, that is when disease and chronic pain festers. But the good news is, the truth is that there's scientifically proven method in order to reverse the disease process, in order to cope with stress, in order to process anger, frustration, sadness, loss, isolation, abandonment. There is a proven method and a system that we are going to share with you in order to transform and transmute your landscape so that you can be your healthiest, most highest version of yourself. Just like Mr. Chris said, the best thing you can do for me, for him, is to be your healthiest self, and vice versa. So now I would like to know, Mr. Chris, how has Qigong impacted and affected your life?
By the grace of God, I was introduced to Qigong in my early 20s because I grew up in a dysfunctional home with abuse, with neglect, and I started doing drugs at a very young age. Actually, at age 12, I started doing drugs. You know, by the time of my 19th birthday, or right before my 19th birthday, my senior year of high school, I had my first heart attack, and then I had another one soon after that. And it was actually Qigong, the introduction of the Qigong, that helped save my life. But prior to that, what I did was that I actually enrolled myself into Taekwondo to change my path, because I realized if I didn't change myself, I was going to end up dead, in prison, or both. So Taekwondo actually gave me the concentration, gave me the discipline in order to start to stay away from drugs. One of the things that pushed me with Taekwondo is that I started competing right away as soon as I got my yellow belt. And one night before a match, I was accidentally kicked in the back and left with a devastating back injury, which led me to doctors saying that, Chris, you know, if you're not careful, you might not walk again, or, you know, things you take for granted, like being able to go to the bathroom or having sex again, any of those types of things. But another physician, her name is Dr. Nancy Bergman, she had a different perspective. And so she started working with me, and she had a therapist working for her at the time. And he was a martial artist. And back then he started talking to me about Qi. And this is over 30 years ago. Not many people were talking about Qigong in the United States, or at least here in California. I mean, Tai Chi, a lot of people have heard of, and Kung Fu, because Bruce Lee had made Kung Fu really popular, and other famous martial artists that were out there at the time. People were talking about Qi in the sense that this instructor was talking about. So anyways, I started taking these Qigong classes, and I kid you not, my other health issues that I had started to dissipate because I had severe digestive problems, sinus problems. Also, I suffered with OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. My OCD was not as bad as some people's OCD. Like I could step over cracks. My shoelaces didn't have to be exactly the same and such. But I was somebody who was checking the door 100 times or 50 times at least every night to make sure it was locked, or checking the stove to make sure that it was turned off before I went to bed. But anyways, after about 6 months, I started to realize, like, wow, my digestive issues started to dissipate. And I lived on all kinds of medications. over-the-counter medications, and I had all kinds of tests done, upper GI, lower GI. Doctors were puzzled as to what was going on with me. Why is it that I could eat a salad or an avocado, and a few hours later I'd be in a fetal position in severe pain or vomiting in the middle of the night? It wasn't just a salad or avocado. It was also too like eating any kind of animal fat. Some certain types of dairy would do this to me as well too. And like I said, I had severe sinusitis and allergies. And after about 6 months of taking these Qigong classes, it was just a realization like, wow, when did that start to change? When did I stop having to live on these medications? When did I stop having these clinical symptoms? And so I thought to myself, if a simple, specific movement and guided meditation found in Qigong could do this to me, there must be something to the practice. So that's when I started diving deeper into the study of classical Chinese medicine.
And thank God you did.
So now we're about to share with you the simple practice. Well, we actually have a saying, it's a simple practice with profound results. And so please join us for a few of these practices. We're just going to run through them really quickly, but just to give you a taste as to the power of Qigong and actually what it could do for you. And one of the great things I love about Qigong is that it does not discriminate. You could take it with you anywhere. You don't need any specific type of clothing. You don't need a yoga mat. And it does not discriminate against age, gender, belief, religious or belief structure, ethnic background. It does not discriminate. Right. It's meant for all people. One of my favorite practices I love to teach to people is called pulling down the heavens. And little kids, especially kids on the spectrum, love this practice because it really calms them down. And so the next time you get agitated at something, you get overheated at something, you saw something on social media or on the news that troubled you, just stop, pause, breathe. First and foremost, breathe. And second of all, pull down the heavens. So we're going to need to pull down the heavens by inhaling, connecting with our higher power, whatever that looks like for you. God, Spirit, Universe, Tao, whatever that looks like for you. Or if you don't believe in a higher power, just imagine this white light coming down through the body and saturating every cell, every tissue of the body. And let's do one more, just for good measure. Inhale. And exhale. All right, and then we go into tossing the stone.
Tossing the stone, we bring our arms up shoulder height and one arm in front, the other arm behind, coming back to the center and switch. Breathing in and out through the nose. This can be done standing or sitting. We're going to guide the breath in and out through the nose as best you can, sweeping away any stuck or stagnant energy. Finding a gentle rhythm. You can move fast or quickly like Mr. Chris, or you can slow it down. Finding that space, sweeping away any challenges, any obstacles, stress or strife. Imagine rolling off the tips of the fingers, going several feet away from the body and down into the ground. And then slowly and gently bring yourself back to the middle. Pause, breathe.
And then we'll just finish that off by pulling down the heavens 3 times. Inhaling. Once again, connecting to your higher power. Just allow for this white light to saturate every cell, every tissue of the body. Inhale. And exhale, calming the mind, settling in. And third pull. All right, so the third practice, and this is honestly one of my favorite practices, and this is something that I do when something comes up for me, and it's called the heart healing sound. We also refer to it too as the dry cry. So the heart is the emperor, empress of the body. It will dictate how much of an emotion will be expressed or suppressed. And so if you think about it, if you get angry at something, what happens is that anger attacks the heart, that affects the heart. Heart races, then attacks your liver and your gallbladder. If you become worried about something, what happens? Your heart races, then it weakens your spleen and your pancreas. If you become sad or grieving a loss of somebody or a loved one or whatever, the heart hurts and then weakens the lungs. If you become fearful or experience any type of PTSD, it causes the heart, affects the heart, and then weakens your kidneys. So whatever emotion comes up for you, normally I like to say to do this practice when you're when you are feeling sad, you're feeling down, and you need to process maybe loss of a loved one. Maybe your dog just got put to sleep, or your cat just got put to sleep, or maybe some childhood trauma that you stuffed away. But because of you stuffing away, and as you age, continuing to stuff and stuff and stuff, now you have inflammation. Now you have chronic pain inside your body. So what I want you to do is I want you to imagine a pink cloud filling up into the heart. And I want you to dig up something from the past, or maybe something you're going through right now, no matter what it is. Maybe it's something that made you angry. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on in politics. There's a lot of stuff going on around the world. It's got a lot of people upset right now. I know here in Los Angeles, there's a lot of people suffering from the fires, and this is a great practice, for those of you who have lost your homes, lost your schools, lost your businesses, and especially for the kids too. It's pretty sad that not only did they lose some of their schools burned down, but also their home burnt down as well too. Whatever comes up for you, or I want you to feel that. Who's involved? What's involved? I want you to visualize it. Then as you inhale, we're going to imagine a pink cloud filling up into the heart. As you exhale, you're going to make the ha sound, allowing that circumstance to leave like a dark cloud going several feet away from the body and deep into the ground. Now, during this practice, if you feel that stuck feeling from getting sad in your throat, then what I want you to do is I want you to lift the chin. We call that the plum seed effect in Chinese medicine. And you're going to, as you're making the ha sound, imagine the circumstance leaving from the throat chakra, from the throat, as a dark cloud going several feet away from the body and deep into the ground. So as we let go of the sadness, the loss, the shame, the guilt, the anger, the rage, whatever it is, we then bring forth the positive virtue, which is love. And it's not just a romantic type of love, it's the universal love that all beings should have for one another. So I want you to find something. We're going to just run through this. I want you to feel it now. Who is involved? What is involved? And as you inhale, you feel that breath of life, also referred to as the Kong Qi in Chinese medicine, fill up into the heart. Imagine that pink cloud surrounding the heart muscle. See if you can't feel the heart's pulsating rhythm. And visualizing and feeling what circumstance comes to mind that you need to process and let go. Is it something that's going on with you right now? Or is it something from childhood or from a marriage that was troubled? Or loss of a friendship? And then as we inhale, we're going to pull that pink cloud into the heart. And as we exhale, and again inhale, and again Now let's do a few underneath our breath, inhaling. So as you continue to pull the qi, the pink cloud, into the heart, exhaling, making the ha sound, allowing that circumstance that created pain or suffering for us to leave like a dark cloud, going several feet away from the body and deep into the ground. Let's do one more, allowing the love to emanate. And then from here, we're going to finish off pulling down the heavens one time. Inhale. And exhale.
Wow, that was amazing. I feel so relaxed and whew, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Since 2017, when we first created Qigong teacher training, we have guided hundreds of practitioners who are now on the leading edge of health, healing, and wellness for themselves as well as in their communities. The practices found in Qigong can help you co-create more abundance because it helps us find our meaningful contribution to the world. And speaking of meaningful contributions to the world, can you talk a little bit about how the practices can help those of us who might feel depressed or sad? Can Qigong help us get our mojo back?
That's the amazing thing about Qigong and the power of Qigong is that we started off in the beginning of this, 2025, we're seeing such a drastic increase in suicidal ideologies. We actually lost our best friend to suicide a couple of years ago. during the pandemic, and also depression and anxiety and such. And then as a result of that, feeling burnt out, mojo being wiped out. And so that's one of the great things about Qigong, is that it's such a simple practice with profound results. And like I was saying a little bit ago, it's something that you could actually take with you anywhere. And what's really cool about Qigong is that, again, it's not a belief structure. You just try the practices. Start off with maybe 5 to 15 minutes a day. And you'll start to see like, oh, wow, my spirit is starting to uplift. I'm starting to feel happier. I'm starting to get more energy again because it's starting to increase my qi inside my body. You're going to start to see that, wow, that old self that used to enjoy certain things and used to enjoy making things, drawing, painting, cooking, planting, whatever, making music, making movies or whatever it is. If you find that you're somebody who's lost sight of that because the mojo is gone, because of all that's been going on, I mean, for years, but especially since, I'm going to say 2020.
2020.
Yeah, 2020 was the kickstart to a lot of this stuff.
Crazy.
We're still seeing the after effects, and we're not out of the woods yet. So start practicing 5, 10, 15 minutes a day. Start off with those 3 practices I just showed you: pulling down the heavens, tossing the stone. Imagine that you're tossing off negative energy, or if you have negative thoughts, or if you have tension in your neck and in your shoulders, imagine that releasing. Doing the heart healing sound. And the cool thing about doing the heart healing sound is that you could do that underneath your breath.
Anywhere.
Yeah, you could take it with you anywhere. Suppression equals depression. So instead of suppressing, you now have a tool for which you could do. So even if you're in public, you do that sound underneath your breath. So instead of saying, well, I don't have time for this, to feel this right now, I'm just going to push it down. Well, guess what? That creates inflammation, that creates disease, that creates depression, creates anxiety, creates all types of inflammatory conditions inside the body. So now you have that simple tool that you could actually take with you anywhere. And like I said, doing it underneath your breath. But if you're at home or in your car, obviously do it audibly. And then if you are somebody who wants to start to dig up some of that old stuff and process some of that old stuff, then you start thinking of old childhood stuff or other things, like
do it in layers.
Yeah, do it in layers. And it's okay as you're doing the sound, if other thoughts come up, other troubling thoughts come up, it's okay. Just allow it to flow through you. And this will start to change the vibration in the body, get rid of that stagnation, which is showing up as exhaustion, depression, and feeling like, hey, I don't have my mojo. I just rather stay in bed right now.
Right.
So that's one of the things I really love about Qigong.
Wow, that's so cool. Thank you so much. My next question is, can you describe, for those of us who are brand new to Qigong, what exactly is Qi?
That's actually a really good question, and especially for those of you that don't have any concept of what Qi is. Qi is the life force energy that emanates through all things, seen and unseen. Everything is a level of energy or a level of consciousness. That's what Qi is. So even the chair that you're sitting on, your bed or whatever, has a level of consciousness. If it did not, its molecules would dissolve into nothingness. But when we talk about it as far as improving our health and our psyche in the human body, think of Qi in terms of blood. We have a saying in classical Chinese medicine that the blood contains the Qi, and the Qi moves the blood around the body. They cannot be separated, just like yin and yang theory, yin and yang philosophy. They cannot be separated. They're all contained within itself. Think of it in terms of circulation. Think of it also, too, of what does it take in order for your heart to beat, in order for your kidneys to secrete, for your
lungs to breathe,
your digestion. All that, it takes energy. That's why if you don't eat the right foods, if you don't get enough sleep, if you are burnt out, or if you are suffering from trauma, or you're suffering from the worldly events, or the worldly events are actually affecting you to the level to where you're like so angry and that you just want to wring somebody's neck, and because you're so angry and you feel like I can't do nothing about this or whatever, then that creates the depression. So this life force energy emanates through all things. And so Qi is that life force energy. Gong, when you look at the word gong, gong is the skill. So like if you hear the word gong fu means skill with the fist. Qi Gong together means that we're taking this life force energy within our body and our environment too. And in this case, to improve the functioning of all the systems and the organs in our body. Because again, a lot of people don't know or haven't realized that negative emotions attack different organs of the body. And when it's not expressed appropriately, suppressed, or disconnected from, then this is what shows up as the lack of mojo, the lack of drive, the psyche suffering. And then as a result of that, then we start to see all the digestive disorders, the sleep disorders, the colitis, the Crohn's diseases and stuff, migraines. I mean, there's so many different things.
Wow.
And emotionally too, like the 2 new books that came out. I have Chris Shelton's Easy Guide to Fix Neck and Back Pain. And in that book, I talk about how the emotions attack different areas of the spine, like the cervical spine, the thoracic spine, and the lumbar, right? In my new Qigong book, Chris Shelton's Easy Guide to Emotional Wellbeing with Qigong, we dive in deep. And we started to dive in deep as to the importance of these practices. Because with these practices, I'm not just teaching them because it feels good. I want everybody, and I want all the readers, I want all the participants and all the viewers to understand that we're practicing these practices with a purpose. Relaxation and feeling calm is a byproduct. What we're really after is internal harmony. Internal harmony. We have a saying that it's all 3 are equally as important. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. All 3 are as equally as important. So this is the cool thing, and that in a nutshell is what Qi is.
Wow, that was so deep. Thank you for that explanation. Very helpful. So what would you say to people who are wanting to practice but worried about the time commitment?
Well, that's also a really good question as well, too. It only takes about 10 or 15 minutes a day. That's all we say. And what's interesting is that if you start doing these practices 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll start to see that you're actually going to have more energy. You're going to get that mojo back. You're going to get that energy back, that Qi, that life force back. Because as we start to cultivate ourselves, as we start to let go of the baggage and we start to process through it, and we increase the functionality of all these organs, because all these organs are like us humans, we're all interconnected. So all these organs are all interconnected as far as function goes, and they all have a purpose, and they all, like I said before, they all have a different system or systems that they control or influence. So you'll see, like, wow, 10 or 15 minutes, it's not that much time, and as a byproduct, you'll start to see, wow, I actually have more time because I have more energy now to do whatever it is that I love to do.
That's cool. So it's like an investment in time in your own self pays off in dividends down the road because you'll be more in alignment and be able to access and tune into the vibration of joy and abundance. So one more question. What would you say to somebody who's interested but scared to take the leap, who's on the fence?
These are really good questions. So I always say that a little bit of nervousness or excitement means that's your body's way of saying, hey, we're about to embark on a major journey for ourselves. It's going to benefit ourselves. And the cool thing is that every student who's participated in our Qigong teacher training program has started exactly where you are. And then what happened was that they started to see, first and foremost, for themselves, how it started to improve their lives. And then they started to dive deeper. It started to spark something else within them in order to dive deeper. So this is one of the things about the time commitment, the investment or whatnot. These are all legitimate questions and concerns. But to me, what that tells me is that your body, your psyche is telling you, your higher self, your higher spirit is telling you, guess what? If you're watching this video, as a matter of fact, this means that this is the place and time for you to start to dive deeper. And this program is something that is designed just to do that for you. So in our next session, we're going to dive deeper, how to deepen your own practices for your own health and vitality and personal transformation, as well as to turn your passion into wellness that will create actually much more abundance and joy for you.
You'll discover how people just like you are utilizing the tools of Qigong in order to access more joy, creativity, abundance, and purpose.
Put in the comments below if you have any questions, but also we'd like to hear where you're from as well too. And please join us tomorrow for our next session where we will dive deeper in the transformational powers of Qigong. And if you're somebody that's looking on how to apply these practices to your existing practice, and also too how to create more abundance and joy for yourself, this is the other reason why you want to join us again tomorrow for the next session. Always remember this, when the Qi is flowing, so is the joy and abundance. So next time, we will Qi you later.